Celebrating the 4th of July weekend is taking on a new meaning for one family. They recently discovered a diary of sorts from the husband of Betsy Ross, John Claypoole. As Jericka Duncan explains, finding that diary led them to finding family they didn't even know existed.
They're perfect strangers, united by history that goes back more than 200 years.
It's just so amazing.
It is amazing. Yes.
Last month at the Museum of the American Revolution in Philadelphia, Eileen Edge.
So I'm actually not even 100% sure how we...
I don't really know.
Yeah, we're going to have somebody explain the connection.
We can explain part of it.
Met her cousin, Steve Balderston, for the first time. They're both descendants of Betsy Ross.
So Betsy Ross was your great-great-great-great-grandmother.
Yes.
Do you recall the first time you learned about Betsy Ross?
It's quite honestly, I was told probably before I could even understand it.
Betsy Ross was Steve Balderston's great-great-great-grandmother. In 2019, that side of the family came across a sea chest from the American Revolution. Engraved on the top, the name John Claypoole, Betsy Ross's third husband.
You started off really with this chest. What was that like?
That was pretty exciting. It had originally been in my house, in the family house. And so I made a couple calls, and my cousin Richard Balderston and Claudia said that it would be great to be donated to the museum.
1 year later, nearly 3,000 miles away in Redmond, Washington, Eileen and her husband David were going through her mother's belongings.
It was wrapped up in a piece of paper that said, "To be preserved with great care."
Which we did laugh.
Yeah, because it's in the garage.
In an old Sears shoebox.
Oh, wow. So this could have easily been thrown out.
Easily.
In the paper, it said, "Diary of John Claypoole."
That diary describes the experiences of Claypoole as a prisoner of war, and historians believe the sea chest could have been with him before he was captured by the British.
Mr. Joseph Ashburn, I beg leave to inform you that he was brought to this prison in a short time after me.
Here, Claypoole writes about his friend Joseph Ashburn, Betsy Ross's second husband.
He died in the night of the 3rd of March after an illness of about 10 days, which he bore with an amazing fortitude.
1 year later, Ross and Claypoole married.
What is it like to hold that?
It's completely mind-blowing. This is probably only the 3rd or 4th time I've held it since we found it, because we just didn't want to disrupt it. We wanted to make sure it stayed in great shape.
Eileen reached out to the Revolution Museum in Philadelphia, which has only been around since 2017. She was put in contact with Chief Historian Philip Meade, the same man who helped her cousin a year earlier.
Well, he said, you know, we have the John Claypoole chest, and he said, I know that side of the family. I would love to connect you. And I was like, that's so amazing. We would love to be connected with them.
How exciting is this to get a find like this and to reconnect families together?
It's one of the events of a lifetime. We had just recently acquired this sea chest that belonged to John Claypoole. It was just too good to be true.
How valuable is a diary like this?
It's invaluable to scholarship, to the public. It's our closest approximation of actually meeting John Claypoole or Betsy Ross. They're gone, but their words survive.
Claypoole's legacy is made famous because he was married to the woman known for designing the first American flag, even though historians debate that today.
There is no direct evidence of that, but what we do know about her is that she made lots of flags, which meant a pretty specialized artisan. So she was a businesswoman, she was an entrepreneur, she was a mother, she was an exceptional woman. She really represents the many, many little-known stories of the Revolutionary era.
A story being told at what feels like the perfect time.
Would you describe this as life-changing?
For me, it's about honoring my mom. She had such a strong love for her family and her family's history, and having lost her last July, for me, the year has been more about honoring her. And I guess I would say I'm filled with excitement to share the diary with people who come and have a love of history here. because I am a firm believer that history always repeats itself. And if you learn from it, maybe you make better decisions going forward.
For CBS This Morning Saturday, Jericka Duncan, Philadelphia.
Don't throw out what's in the shoebox in the garage. Sorry, I had to say that.
I unfortunately have done it many times, but it's so good to know that they sifted through it and found a treasure.
Yeah.
We all can share.
Very cool. You got a great background there, Dana, by the way. Can you take that tight shot at there? Look at that.
Very patriotic today.
Very patriotic. Beautiful.
What an American girl.